So, you see our freedom, happiness, and wisdom. That is the series. And we are studying the second sutra formula of this journey. So that says Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Four words that simply means yoga is emptying the mind of its contents. What are the contents? Thoughts. So we will take this to the next level. So I take some references from the Upanishads, other texts, to explain this sutra. And then I'm personalizing the very content according to your seeking. I read somewhere about 10 years ago, one scientist in US said that we have more or less about 60,000 thoughts every day in our mind. We hardly become aware of 100 or 50 and 100 thoughts. First, have a mathematical calculation. 60,000 thoughts per day multiplied by 30 days multiplied by 12 multiplied by, say for example, if you are 25 years old, 60,000 multiplied by 30 multiplied by 25 years comes out to be more or less 6 billion thoughts. So this mind has to take care of these 6 billion thoughts. Then multiply by 10. Why? So we have almost 60 billion thoughts in 25 years of age. And this mind has to deal with these number of contents in the mind. And you want to empty the mind. You want to empty this mind. Why? Because emptying the mind from its content is meditation. The 10 times impression triggers my life, my thought, my speech, my action every day. And because the impression lives in the background, so we have habitual, instinctive, and impulsive nature in our life. Are you getting it? And then I will open up the secret of it. So, any event where I express my thought, my speech, my action is triggered by these 60 billion impressions. And they are known as the qualities of the mind. So now understand what is the quality of the mind. Whatever is being expressed from the background is known as the quality. Quality means attribute. Huh? Quality means the attribute, behavior. So, what are these qualities of the mind? Anger, hesitation, pleasure, pain, peace, happiness, love, hatred, duality, conflict, confusion, attention, listening. All are these qualities of the mind. Are you getting it? We started with impressions, and these impressions are triggered by, contains these qualities, and these qualities, whether good or bad, is being expressed as a thought, speech, and action. Clear? Are you getting it? first there is a quality. Why that is a quality? Why it is not a quantity? Can you say one anger, five anger, 10 anger? Can you say one pleasure, 10 pleasure, 100 pleasure? Can you say one grief, 10 grief, 100 grief? No. Grief is grief. Pleasure is pleasure. So that is why it is a quality of the mind. Clear? When I'm attached to a particular quality of the mind, it continues to trigger that quality and creates manifold impressions in the background which we are not aware. What is the definition of this mindfulness? Master says emptying the mind of its content leads us to meditation. So qualities of the mind trigger thought, speech, and action, anger, jealousy, hatred, pleasure, kindness, empathy, sympathy, etc., etc., etc. Clear? Where we are heading to. Patanjali, the master, says that all these impressions and the contents in the mind are stored in a pond present in the mind known as karma shaya. A literal translation of karma shaya is the reservoir of karma, of thoughts, of impressions. Have you understood until now? 60 billion thoughts. Even if I'm 25 years of age, I have never done yoga, I have never practiced meditation, I have never emptied the mind. So my bank account goes on increasing. Two kinds of bank account. In a real bank, you have a saving account that goes on increasing. You are happy. Are you happy if this bank account goes on increasing? Let me ask a question on your behalf. If that question did not come to your mind, what is that? From where these qualities came to our personality? I did nothing at the time of the birth. Don't you want to know the answer of this question? From where these qualities came to my personality at birth, I didn't notice it. So the master says if anger is within you, then only you express anger. You have an attachment with a particular object, and that is why you express in thought, speech, and action. So it is there. Definitely it is there inside, but I did nothing. From where it has come? Let me ask the question again on your behalf. Why I am the way I am? Why David is what David is? Why Stephen is what Stephen is? Why Sergey is the way Sergey is? Why? That gives a very good answer, comes from the Krishna, the Gita. Now understand clearly. He says there are two layers. One is our essential nature, that is the goal of meditation. Real nature, true nature, is a common element in every being. And what about the personal self? There is a real self, there is a personal self. What is that personal self? This personal self contains all the qualities and attributes of the mind, including the contents in the mind present at this moment. You get it? There is a real self and there is a personal self. Real self, dharma. Personal self, swadharma. Dharma is normally literally translated as religion. No. Dharma means the qualities, the essential qualities of a sugar is sweetness and having different shapes, colors in the different forms like candies is the personal self. Similarly, because of these qualities good and bad, contents are present because of the personal self. But from where this personal self has come? Next question. Can you think from where the personal self has come? Master says it comes from vasana. Vasana is a Sanskrit word which means vasati, means that which dwells, living in the personal self, coming from the previous birth and the way we think, speak, and live in the world from the current birth. Like DNA. But DNA does not give us a true picture at the mental level. DNA gives a picture at the physical level. Inherited tendencies pass from one generation to the other generation. But we say this personal self, it contains vasanas, contains all the impressions of the thought, speech, and action in which direction my life will move. Personal self. Now going deeper, little deeper. So that is why we have a concept of previous birth. Now understand clearly. Don't go into any religion, cult, and dogma. What you did yesterday was your previous birth. The way you behaved, the way you reacted, the way you acted, the way you thought, the way you spoke, it gathered all the impressions. And that impression is carried forward today, isn't it? Isn't it a fact? I lived 25 years. Every day the impressions, adding the saving account. And that saving account is nothing but my personal self. Until I exhaust, empty this saving account, that is known as the emptiness of the mind. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So when you empty the mind of all the contents, something if you are 25 years old, 60 billion impressions, I just gave an example. That brings an end to the suffering and that reveals the knowledge. Are you clear? We started talking about the qualities, bad and good. Millions and trillions of these impressions are deposited in the storehouse bank, that is the saving account, and the checking account. What is checking account? Today you became angry. Checking account. Are you getting it? Today you smiled. Checking account. Today you liked what I talked. Checking account. Today you disliked what I talked. It is your checking account. It has nothing to do with. Are you getting it? It has nothing to do with. You are angry over me. It is your checking account. It has nothing to do with. Can you live into that state? Are you getting it? So these checking account. Now we have to understand, can I can we group all these 60 billion impressions that contains different qualities of anger, jealousy, hatred, attachment, pleasure, peace, light, happiness, wisdom, etc., etc.? Can I group these millions of qualities into different groups so that we use those qualities which will help me in my evolution? And I should drop and destroy those qualities which help increasing my saving account. Simple. Warren Buffett. Invest in those shares which gives you incremental benefit and drop those. Never think about it. Destroy it. Jerry will now come to know. Those who have studied yoga, these qualities can be grouped into three categories: sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Three categories. Any quality of the mind that leads you to the knowledge and happiness is sattvic quality. Any quality or any thought guided by a particular quality makes you run, makes you do activity, builds up an ego sense, is Rajasic quality. One student last year told me, you are wasting your time doing meditation. Meditation, do you know why you are sitting ideally with eyes closed and doing nothing? It is better to do some social service than sitting ideally. So he is opposing the knowledge. That is the third category. When I do not want to know myself, that comes under tamasic qualities of the mind. A little more understanding of three groups of qualities. Take an example of the pasta that I take. Pasta alone can meet my hunger. Tamasic quality. Pasta is the same. So I am opposing other knowledge which can meet my hunger. When I have to move from the lower to the higher in my journey of meditation, I have to move from the lower qualities to the higher. So tamasic is lowest, which opposes the knowledge. So what I need to do, I have to trigger in the mind that let me educate the mind to leave pasta, which is created a delusion in my mind that pasta alone can meet my hunger. I'm giving one example. Apply this in our life. I like to do this. This is the only way. I only know this. You don't know. And when you rise from the tamasic to the rajasic, and then we have to rise from the rajasic to the sattvic. What is sattvic? You will remember when I say, what is the right knowledge? Eat to live, live to eat. Pasta is gone. Object is gone. Do you see that? That makes your mind empty. If you practice with that knowledge and the wisdom. Otherwise, you simply close your eyes, let me drive the thoughts of an anger away. It will not work. It doesn't work that way. Are you getting it? Are you understanding? Very simple. You see, from where these qualities, it comes from vasana. What is that vasana? The storehouse. From where that storehouse has come from the personal self. And from where the personal self has come, it is carried forward from the previous birth or from the previous day. So it is accumulating the saving account. I have to empty this saving account. If you do not empty this saving account, the mind is not going to be empty and it will never help you to reach to the highest state of meditation. Knowledge and happiness together, the highest group of qualities. Knowledge and happiness, activity and ego sense. Means the mind always runs outside and for pleasure, pleasure is short lived, then pleasure returns to the pain. I keep running. That is another group of qualities. So, anything that makes you run. And the third is tamoguna. Tamoguna, what is that? I understand what is not true but appears true. Pasta alone can meet my hunger that appears true, but it is not true. You are my son. Only if you follow me, then only you will succeed. Look at the very deeper understanding of the nature of the mind. Now, see, you practice meditation daily, and 1 hour, your mind is calm and peaceful. And you have already told me a couple of times after a few hours, my mind returns to the same old habit of instinct and impulsive. Why? Personal self, storehouse of those impressions are there. That is why they enter into your mind. Why I don't live into that state of the peace and the calm 24 by 7? Because of the second and third group of the qualities. These qualities triggers the thought, speech, and action. They create an impression. I continue to add saving account. So what Patanjali is saying, not at a very surface level. He is saying empty the mind of its content. And the last one, then we will start our practice. What is the last one? Did you notice? Master Vyasa says, commentator says, empty the content of its mind leads to meditation. He did not say empty all the contents of the mind leads to meditation. What that means? You are in peace. Do you want to empty peace? Happiness? Joy? Calmness? These are all the qualities. Do you want to empty them also? Then you become a matter, inert, dead. Peace doesn't bring any confusion. Happiness doesn't bring any confusion. Awareness and attention doesn't bring any confusion. So these are also the qualities should remain present in the mind. That is how I experience. All experiences takes place in the mind. Emptying the content of the mind. Those contents which constantly trigger thought, speech, and action, puts me down, forces me to live habitually, instinctively, impulsively, causes anger, pain, duality, conflict, and confusion should get out of my mind. That is the first major step in meditation. Not only when you practice meditation, but also living your life day by day, moment to moment. Serious topic, not so serious. Let us close your eyes and start our journey of meditation. So, what is? Close your eyes.